All right, hey, welcome back, guys. Um, Still playing Eagles of Rome, a game that I am play testing for decision games. It's not going to be released until 2025 sometime. It's an ancients game. It's basically Romans versus various barbarian tribes. Uh, this first this first game comes with I think 10, 12 scenarios, and it's probably going to be like I said, a series game. They're going to come out with other games in the series in different issues. Again, one of the sticking points with me is that depending on the scenario and the year, different units can have different abilities. Well, you always have to keep in mind all Roman legionary units can stack 2 to hex. All Roman light with a movement of 4 can stack 2 to a hex. And pike units can stack 2 to a hex. All their units can only stack 1 to a hex. There's also disengaging. Only light infantry, light cav can disengage, and leaders as well. Parthian shot is only allowed by Parthians and Persian light cavalry, and Roman light cavalry starting in AD 200 or later, or otherwise designated by scenario. That's why it's really important to use the pay attention to your scenario rules, and it's really easy to get confused from scenario to scenario because the units might not be exactly the same that you remembered them from the last scenario. There's also a section about spearmen somewhere. Man, I know I saw that somewhere. They can be different. Let me find it. I know it's here. It's here somewhere quick, I think. I thought I had it highlighted. Ice cream guy's outside. I hear his bells and whistles. Stacking limits, reaction, melee. Here's all that stuff I had highlighted. Maybe I didn't highlight it because I already highlighted all that other stuff. I know it's here. Let me look for a quick second. This is panic engineers routing. Oh, here we go. Rule 17.2, Spearmen. Spearmen can be of 3 types: pikemen, hoplites, or militia. Pikemen can stack 2 units per hex. Hoplites cannot. They can only stack 1 per hex. But there's also different rules against cavalry between them. And then militia can only stack 1 per hex, and they do not affect enemy cavalry. So the scenario will tell you if you're spearmen or pikemen, hoplites, or militia. But the spearmen counters themselves, if I can find one. Oh, let me show you this. So after I told you that about the spearmen can be 3 different types. Here's your combat units. You have heavy infantry types, light infantry types, heavy cavalry types, light cavalry types, leaders, and field fortifications. So your heavy infantry spear is one of your heavy infantry types. And they could, depending on scenario, they can be pike, hoplites, or militia. And that's this unit here, the 4-2 unit. Attack or combat factor of 4, movement factor of 2. The comitatus, which are elite war bands, attack 6, move 3. Your regular war bands, 5, attack 3, move. Praetorians, same thing as the comitatus. And your standard legions are combat factor 4, movement 3. Then you have your light infantry types, your auxilium, archers, skirmishers. Here's some engineers. I haven't encountered them yet. Auxilium, there's different types. These guys here, elite auxiliary, I've not encountered them yet. You also have missile engines, baggage trains, right? Then you have your heavy cav. You have your cataphracts, your equites, your equite singularis, which is guard cavalry, which is just one more combat factor than regular heavy cavalry. Then you have your elephants. There are elephants in this game, haven't played with them yet. And then you have your light cav units, which is your light cav and chariots. And then your leaders and all these other markers. So, having said that, they also tell you here on the edge, this is a war band. These are Praetorians. They're not actually Praetorians. They're a 5-3. They're a, maybe I'm using the wrong counter, but they're still a 5-3. And then this guy here, skirmishers, he's a leader. There's some more Roman skirmishers, some Roman auxilium. But see, all the skirmishers, all the auxilium, they'll all have the same numbers at the bottom. It's really hard. It comes in a lot more clear to see. Oh, here's legions. Here's my legions. Here's some archers. These names are easier to see on this camera than they are in real life, believe me. Especially with my old ass eyes. So I just go by the number, because if you look over here, the numbers are the same. Well, I mean, the numbers will tell you what they are, depending on scenario. So there is facing, for instance, this arrow here facing straight up. These 3 hexes are his front. These 3 hexes are his rear. You do get combat advantages from attacking a unit from the rear. You should always try to prevent that. And facings only matters at the instance of combat. For instance, he's facing this way. Well, it should be more like, it's a hex edge. I can move him 3 and then change his facing at the end of his move. These units here with just a combat factor in parentheses, they're disrupted. They can't move at all. They're just stuck there. Leaders, they add their combat factor. They also have a movement factor, but they add their combat factor into the stack they're with. And they have a column shift in combat, and they have a 1 hex. Well, this particular leader has a 1 hex range for rally and I believe movement and rally movement and something else, I thought. Within a 1 hex, like all the hexes around him. Up here, this Roman leader, he's got a 2 hex range. So anything within 2 hexes gets a rally bonus and a movement bonus. But only the stack he's in gets his leader bonus in combat, which just means you shift to the right 1 column. So if it's 3 to 1, it goes to 4 to 1. You have archers, which are these guys here. The combat factor is in black, which means they only defend, but they have a 2 beside that arrow. That means they can shoot 2 hexes away, and their missile fire combat factor is 2. There's a separate missile fire results table than the melee results table. These light cav, there's some of these, like these light cav here, that they were initially up here and then they were withdrawn. They also have a 1 hex archery range. So just wanted to go over that again with you guys real quick. This battle's going it's pretty fun. It recreates medieval warfare pretty good at these basic levels of rules. The combat and the maneuvering that you would need to do represents or mirrors what you would expect out of a medieval or ancient combat. So it's a pretty damn good game so far. Thanks for watching, fellas. See you soon.